Hello, this is Cotton Stoops, and welcome back to another Lumion Legacy HTUC video. And in today's video, we're going to be going over Banokey. Banokey is probably the most strongest Lumion that we've gotten so far, and I won't be surprised that this Lumion either gets banned or this Lumion shapes the entire metagame into becoming a more offensive one. And I'll be going into that in today's video, but this video is mainly focused on how to use and counter Banokey, from the counters and checks and teammates in order to know how to use this Lumion, as well as knowing their roles in the sets in order to know how to use this Lumion in your teams. Today's video is all about how to use and counter Banokey. So in order to know how to really use Banokey, we must look at its base stats. Its base stats offensively look pretty good. Its energy of 89 lets it get to a 250, which is a pretty good benchmark for offensive Lumions, and a speed tier of 96 will allow you to outspeed a lot of wall breakers such as Shachi and Wintrix. However, it does get outsped by modern day revenge killers, those being Zulong, Hunter, Jetwing, Vesperatu, Garbantus, all of that like. And it doesn't even have a good range attack stat either, which I think it's fine because when you get down to its abilities and its moves, you're really not going to care about that low attacking stat. Despite this, it does have a pretty bad bulk of 50 on each side. Its HP of 97, however, I think it's a pretty good mediator of these defenses. However, you don't really want to swap Banokey in on a move unless you know it won't do any damage. The best way to get this in is through a revenge kill leading this through the battle, or you might be able to pivot it in or double it in. Banokey, I think, is a pretty good Lumion to take advantage of that, and that's mainly because of its normal ability. This normal ability will allow your simple and brawler type moves to just bypass spirit resistance and spirit immunities. This makes it so Banokey has the ability to pretty much hit everything neutrally in this game from just its coverages alone. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, but the only Lumion that can actually resist the simple type is going to be Wraith because it is spirit and a metal. However, Brawler will just hit it super effectively. So its normal ability will be pretty good for beginners that don't really want to think and just hit a move to hit pretty hard. However, the main source of damage that I'm really talking about here is its secret ability, Monkey Madness, or that's what I'm going to be calling it because I don't really want to have a name for something that isn't in the game yet as of the time of this recording. But for right now, it does 50% more damage, but it is move locked. So basically, the choice items that have been implemented in the game, the specialty gloves or specialty goggles, this makes Banokey a really strong Lumion, especially when you stack those items together. So really, the only thing that's really bad about this Lumion is it does have a low general bulk. I've already expanded upon this. So if you do choose to not run a choice item, then you will have limited chances to set up. You do have good setup though in Brawn Boost or Bulk Up. However, the best thing about this damage is that the damage comes from moves that already are pretty strong, which I will be getting into the set section. But Banokey has the potential to really break a lot of things in this metagame. If you are running the secret ability, there's very limited Lumions that can actually answer you, and overall I think this is going to be a very solid Lumion in this metagame. So now onto the set section for Banokey. Banokey is going to be a very strong Lumion with its secret ability, especially if you're going to be running some damage boosting item, preferably the specialty items. Basically, specialty gloves is what you'd want to run with the secret ability. You might as well stack the damage while you can because you're already going to be locked into one move. However, the normal ability is still fine. It basically is a stupid ability because you won't have much to resist your coverage, so you kind of can just click whatever and you'll get damage out of it. However, in the long run and for more experienced players, the SA is going to be a lot better for your Lumion. Other than this, we can talk about its personality, which is going to be very brawny, clumsy, tender. Obviously, you could try and run a brawny nimble to speed creep some stuff like Wintrix. However, in my opinion, it is much more valuable to get as much damage as you can Banokey won't be on the field for too long, especially with that bulk, so the best way you can do damage is by just maximizing the damage you can do in one turn, and that's pretty much the kind of idea that this set is going to be going for. Other than this, your moveset is going to be Rogue Assault, Raging Tackle. These are your best stab moves, and even though they are self-inflicting, Raging Tackle is being a recoil move in Rogue Assault, lowering your defenses. As long as you're being smart with your Banokey, hitting it with stuff on the swap, and then just playing smart, these moves aren't going to be too damaging to you. And then of course the other guaranteed move you want to run is Slapdown. If there is a situation where Banokey wants to remove something's item, or it really can't do much other than try and have some utility, Slapdown allows for that. And then the last move, Coconut Bomb or Frost Punch is going to be your options. Coconut Bomb is mainly for water types, so stuff like Luminami can't swap in on you when you try and do something else. Frost Punch, however, is for Lashent, although correct me if I'm wrong, but Rogue Assault might be able to do more damage, but it's just safe to have something to hit Lashent and more. In my opinion, I'd run Coconut Bomb because it is the higher base power thing, and Rogue Assault already does a lot of damage to Lashent. It's really just pick your poison here. Honestly, a lot of these moves you can swap in and out to your liking. Anyways, the item is going to be the Specialty Gloves. Now, before I do say something else, Specialty Gloves with the already ability in place with the secret ability does way too much damage. So if you're thinking of running a Specialty Boots, because Banokey right now with something this frail, you might as well make it faster. You can use a Specialty Boots with the Specialty Gloves as an ability, and then you can go Mayhem. However, Gloves and the ability is what I'd really go for. It's the name of the set, and you want to do as much damage as possible. Other than this, let's talk about the TPs, which is pretty self-explanatory. 12 energy for 250. You can't really have any more investment because you're going to be taking too much of your TPs out. But other than that, 88 HP is going to be the leftovers while you want to maximize your melee attack and speed, so you can outspeed as much as possible while also hitting as hard as possible. Now, the best way to really stop Banokey other than using a fat wall like Lava Fiend, I'm pretty sure Lava Fiend is the only wall that can check the secret ability, but the best way to do that is through offensively checking it. This meta is probably going to be a lot more offensive than people might think because of the choice items, so really the best way to try and adapt to it is by thinking offensively. And the best way to offensively check this Lumion is with boots users like Tatab, or Lumions that can outspeed it and revenge kill it with super effective hits. This would be Jetwing, Snagoop, and Rancidor to name a few. I would mention spirit types such as Vesperatu, which will also probably be running choice banned. However, really, normal abilities might be existing right now simply because it is a pretty unga bunga ability, so I won't really recommend too much right now, but make sure you use air and toxic types as they are able to hit the brawler side of Banokey. Other than this, the best ways that you can try and prep for it are hyper offensive teammates. Banokey doesn't have the best bulk, so the best way of helping it in the battle is offensively. With a fast pivoter such as Phagenot, this can also be a Zulong because Zulong has Ancient Roar, or it can be anything you want. HO is pretty flexible in what you need. All you need is a strong wall-breaking trio or another Lumion in that mix, and then you can have your hazard lead, and then you can have two potential sweepers on your team. Vesperatu and Banokey is a very good combo, as Lumions like your snack that would like to swap in on it, and then Lava Fiend if it has already transformed. Vesperatu can potentially revenge kill Lava Fiend. It can also do massive amounts of damage to your snack. Other than that, Phagenot pretty much take cares of your snack pretty well because of its melee defense bulk. It also can take care of Lava Fiend when it is chipped. It doesn't want to take a hit straight from it. Other than this, Phagenot's answers, which are mostly plant types, Vesperatu can cover, and a lot of the ranged walls that Phagenot gets walled by, Banokey can pretty much break with choice band. So this is going to be a very strong trio in my opinion. A more alternate trio that I'd recommend is Ikazune and Dorogo in place of Esperanto and Phage Knot. Ikazune has better coverage, so it is more friendly to the average player, and Dorogo, while not having any significant damage turn 1, if you pair it with the choice goggles, it's going to be doing so much damage with choice Draco Beam. You're already boosted, and now on your second turn you will be going up by +2, which I'm just going to say it's going to be so powerful with this trio. Not to mention Ikazune has pivot, so it can help these two win, and Dorogo has baffle, so it can also help these two win. It's just going to be a really strong thing to take note of. Anyways, hazard leads, which I will be talking about later, but these are examples of sweepers that I was talking about earlier. Banokey, Jetwing, and Chienta. Jetwing being probably the best out of these guys because of its sheer bulk before it transforms with N Magnify. Banokey has the immunities to really make sure your hyper offensive team is not going to be getting pivoted on. And as for Chienta, Chienta is a late game option, although as much as it does a lot more damage compared to these two in my opinion, it really does has some bulk issues. And of course, hazard leads, you can't really go wrong with Gargolem Speed or Gobidemic, and of course Weasland can be thrown in that mix as well. So out of all the new Lumines that have came out, I think that Banokey has the most potential out of all of them. It has the highest damage ceiling in the entire game, and that makes Banokey probably the strongest wall breaker right now. It can work very well in offensive playstyles, but it might be one more Lumion that does have the ability to be better than it because of its whole kit and everything. However, its secret ability is bugged, so I don't really want to try and touch that Lumion for now. Although, for right now, I think Banokey probably has the strongest potential out of all of these Lumions and might even become a top tier. This is Connor Stoops signing off to remind you guys that Zulong is still a dumpster fire.